Coffee connoisseurs, today I'm going to be reviewing the vanilla coffee by Black Rifle Coffee Company. Before I get into this, I just want to give a big shout out and thank you to a best friend of mine who is more like a brother. Bob, thank you very much for the coffee. I'm sorry it took so long to get to it and get it on the channel for a review. Thank you for this coffee. Thank you for supporting me, and above all else, thank you for your friendship, brother. I love you, man. But with that out of the way, what do you say we get into this? I can already smell the vanilla. This has a very pleasant scent to it. First of all, I'm getting a very well-defined medium-ish roast coffee scent to it. It's very pleasant. Honestly, think it's going to be very good once we brew it. The vanilla scent is, I don't want to use the word strong. It's not very strong, but it's also not exactly mild. It's like the perfect scent where it's present, but it's not dominating. The aroma of this coffee, ironically enough, actually kind of reminds me of a pastry. Weirdly enough, kind of like a cinnamon roll with a nice vanilla frosting. I know that sounds strange, but a vanilla coffee scented candle done how this coffee smells would actually be awesome. But coffee connoisseurs, what do you say we go and we get this brewing? While I wait for the coffee to brew, let's talk a little bit about Black Rifle Coffee Company. Black Rifle Coffee Company is a veteran-founded coffee company committed to supporting veterans, first responders, and America's men and women in uniform. Every purchase supports their mission to give back to those who served. Pulled from their website, which is pretty cool and intricate, by the way, they've donated more than 61,000 bags of coffee, over $2 million in donations, and they partnered with Born Primitive for a group donation of $35 million in veteran medical debt forgiveness. And while I'm not really sure if this is just in 2026 or in general, it's still pretty cool. If you want to check out their website, I will have a link to it in the description of this video. On the website, you can find coffee, both flavored and traditional, K-cups, ready-to-drink canned coffee, including cold brews, and bulk coffee. On their website, they even detail some philanthropy events like the Star Spangled Babies. That took place March of 14th, 2026 in Frisco, Texas. Black Rifle Coffee Company collaborated with the Dallas Cowboys and Operation Homefront to support and honor military families by hosting a baby shower for 50 expecting military moms. Also, from January 31st to February 1st of 2026, Black Rifle Coffee Company partnered with Project Recon for the 2026 GWAT 100 to support their mission of advancing access to science-backed regenerative care for Special Operations Forces suffering from complex neurological injuries. And while all of that's really cool and I definitely salute it, you know as well as I do, I'm in it for the coffee. So what do you say we go get a cup of coffee and try it? Brewed, this coffee has a really nice coffee scent to it with a mild yet still very present scent of vanilla. I suspect this is actually going to be pretty good. So I finally have a cup of this coffee in front of me, and let's get to trying it. Cheers, coffee connoisseurs. Okay. First thing that I noticed initially, unsweetened, this has a really pleasant coffee taste with surprisingly low acidity. This has a really nice and pleasant medium body to it. It's not too overpowering. The vanilla I'm tasting right now as more on my breath after I swallow the initial sip of coffee. This is good. I'm actually really enjoying this. I applaud this. But it's piqued my curiosity a bit, and I suspect once we sweeten it that the vanilla is going to pop a little bit more. So, what do you say we go sweeten this and see if I'm right? So I'm back. I topped my coffee off, put a little bit of sweetener in it. Let's see what it does. This is cool. So It tastes about the same as it did before we sweetened it, obviously a little bit sweeter. Still has a very nice medium body to it with a very pleasant taste. And what I like most about this right now is while the sweetener definitely did help pop that vanilla, it's still very faint. I like vanilla. I don't love vanilla. I especially don't love it when it takes away from the coffee flavor. And this does not. This is still tasting like a very pleasant medium roast coffee. And I absolutely applaud that. I'm not going to lie, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. The other thing that I would like to add is that even with this little bit of sweetener, this coffee is just as smooth as it was black without any kind of sweetener. And it was really impressing me with how smooth this coffee was before we put any kind of sweetener in it. But now my curiosity is really piqued. And what do you say we go throw a little bit of skim milk in this, put a little bit of creamer in it, and just kind of see what that does to the dynamic? So I'm back. I've put a little bit of milk in this coffee to see what it does. I'm really excited. I'm impressed. So the creamer actually helped bring the vanilla to the forefront of the coffee. And so it changed the dynamic a little bit. And while the creamer actually helped pop that vanilla just a little bit, it's still not dominating. I will say that initially when I sip this coffee, I'm getting more of a sweetened vanilla flavor to it. However, I'm getting a very nice medium coffee taste on the palate, on my breath after I swallow this coffee. All in all, I have to say I'm pretty impressed with this. I came into this video without many expectations and not really knowing what to expect, and I'm honestly leaving pleasantly surprised and rather impressed. I enjoyed this coffee all three ways that I tried it, but naturally my favorite was black and unsweetened. And it was my favorite because it was so smooth without sacrificing any of the coffee flavor. I genuinely enjoyed this. But coffee connoisseurs, I think that's all the time that I have for coffee reviews today. Thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate the time that you spent with me, and most importantly, I appreciate you. Have you ever tried Black Rifle Coffee Company? Have you ever had the vanilla coffee? Let me know down in the comments. If there's anything that you want to see me try, let me know in the comments section and I'll do my best to find it. Also, if you enjoyed this video, smash that like button by calling in an artillery barrage on it. And don't forget to subscribe with notifications on. I drop a new coffee review every Sunday morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Time, so it'll be ready and waiting for you to enjoy with your morning coffee. If you have served or are currently serving, Zelda and I thank you for your service. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out, Coffee Crew. With a very pleasant scent. This Come on, man, words. Behold, Zelda. Zelda, I just want you to know that I've had so many people asking about you that you really are the star of this channel, and I'm just here drinking coffee. And it's nice to have you back. Thank you for being present for the video. I've started making cheat sheet cue cards for these. On their website, they also have some I knew I was going to struggle to say that. Philanthropy. On their website, they even detail some philanthropy. Can I just say charity? I'm just going to say charity. On their website, they even detailed some philanthropy. Hey, I did it! On their website, they even detailed some philanthropy events such as Star Spangled Banner. Really? That's where I screwed up? Fun fact, I got this mug at a local rummage sale that supports a local animal charity, so this mug went to supporting local animals in need. So that's a win. But coffee connoisseurs, I think that's all that that make coffee, not war. Hi. Do you want to smell the coffee? Oh, you like that. So I'd like to share something cool and kind of personal with you guys. Both of my grandfathers served in World War II. My grandfather on my mother's side was a cook in the Navy, and while I don't really know much about his service, I'm pretty proud of him for it. My grandfather on my father's side, however, was in the 13th Army Air Corps, which would later become known as the 13th Air Force. He was stationed in the Philippines, and these are his medals. The 13th Army Air Corps actually used the Lockheed P-38 Lightnings. And fun fact, this is the mousepad that I use on my computer every time I sit down to make a coffee video. On April 18th, 1943, P-38 Lightning fighters from the 13th Army Air Corps actually shot down Admiral Yamamoto. He was the famous Japanese admiral that was quoted as saying that they could not invade the US mainland, for there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass. Admiral Yamamoto was also quoted as saying, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve in regards to the attack on Pearl Harbor." While it's not a very big picture and I know there's a lot of glare, this is actually a picture of my grandpa standing next to a P-38 Lightning. But that's just a cool piece of family history and a little part of my heritage and lineage that I wanted to share with you all.